We are celebrating 50 years of hip hop, and we would not be talking about hip hop if it wasn't for this influential voice, the incredible Dee Barnes. I wanted to go even deeper and say, you said this in Rolling Stone, I want to quote it, because even though you've done all of this great stuff, your name is also synonymous with being brutally attacked.
Right.
By Dr. Dre.
Right.
And you said this, you said, what I find most frustrating about the entire thing is that Dre and I can't seem to coexist in the same space. I looked at the Grammys tribute and I was thinking, I would have been there. I would have been there on the red carpet. I would have been interviewing some of those people. In fact, I've interviewed most of those people.
Yes.
It's a reflection, right? It's a reflection of how you built this incredible career and it's being stripped.
Being stripped, it's being buried.
It's being buried.
And I think of all the work that I put in with that show, and to have that legacy be buried under the rubble of an incident, one incident, that everyone else says in reference to him, it was one mistake. It was in the past, let it go. But then what about, where's that, grace for me? That grace for me is not there. And that's surprising from both men and women. That's like really, really surprising to me. And I know a lot of these people, and I would have been there on the red carpet interviewing them, And this is one of the reasons why I pulled out the shirt, because not about, so people will remember me. It's about remembering the show.
And what it did.
And what it did. We platformed a lot of artists that people don't even talk about.
Yeah.
I was able to interview, and these are because I was an artist and a fan of the music. Still am. I still love hip hop. Even if it doesn't love me as much.
That's what I was going to talk to you.
I still love hip hop because I grew up in New York and Queens, and I seen it come up, and then I was able to transition to California, and I watched that come up. I was there when a lot of the OGs was, just starting up.
You had people that came to you and you were there first, the breaks.
Well, the reason
Y'all
why,
broke artists.
Yes, we broke a lot of artists.
And I love that you gave us the timeline, because I think what's powerful here is this is a legacy that is a lot of these women in hip hop, where they are now, all these incredible artists.
Right.
This is the staple. This is the reason that we can have our evolution of women in hip hop, is for shows like Pump It Up.
Right.
And I think it is incredible to me that you have the strength to be able to talk about it, because it is being swept under by one moment.
It is.
And I don't want to hang on that one moment.
Yeah.
I don't want to just hang on that moment, because you are so much more than that. And why I wanted to really speak with you is because as a woman who has 10 years, I was 10 years with Bad Boy, 10 years in hip hop, and I've saw it in a different angle.
Right.
What I've noticed is, as women, we constantly have to pander, and we constantly have to shift and move. And in hip hop, that has been an ongoing journey for us, where we originally are either the first, or if we're in the environment, we are constantly tiptoeing in it, to now where women are starting to have their voices and they're saying, I won't tiptoe in this, and you're seeing women evolve in hip hop. I want to talk about the matriarchs.
Right? One of my passions.
Right, because I cannot talk about where we are now without talking about who started this.
Who started, and that's something that's so,
the
so
sequence.
close. So much passion about that, because we know the founding fathers.
Yeah.
You always hear
We
the
speak
rollout.
about
We
hip-hop
speak about
that
it
way,
all
right.
the time. They talk about Kool Herc, but they never mention Cindy Campbell.
Yes.
Because it's his sister that, was his inspiration for that party that started off this thing we call hip hop. We don't talk about, we know Grandmaster Caz, we know Curtis Blow, but we don't talk about MC Shira.
Come on.
We don't talk about Lady B. We don't talk about the sequence, and the sequence was, who's the sequence? Okay, Angie B. Everybody knows that. Her, as Angie Stone, Cheryl Pearl, and Blondie. Those are the three that made the sequence. And when we talk about the sequence, we don't talk about Sylvia Robinson.
Yeah.
Who started, Sugar Hill Records.
Since we're here now, right, and thanks to the matriarchs, they're able to build the Dee Barnes of the world, and to make the MC Lights and the Queen Latifahs,
the Moni
and
Loves.
and to create these beautiful women to go throughout hip hop. I love that you said, I love hip hop even though it don't love me the way I'd like it to. I feel that.
Man.
I know that feeling. I know that feeling so much.
Yes.
And so I say that to say then, how important is accountability in hip hop then? For us,
Okay.
as
I gotta shift gears on that because I love that question and thank you for asking that. One of the things that here I'll just give you an example. When we were just talking about timelines. Accountability is everything. No matter if it's hip hop, no matter if it's work related, no matter if it's a relationship, it's important. It's important, and for hip hop in particular, with accountability. Take, for example, the incident with me. I always talk about, and I've tweeted it out a million times, what if the men in hip hop had stood up for me when the incident happened? And say, whoa, wait a minute, let's have a come to Jesus moment. Let's all get together now. Let's unpack this. Well, wait a minute, slow down, brother. Like, you shouldn't have done it. And I mean, together, like how we got together for the Stop the Violence, how we got together for the Heal, how we got together for the West Coast All-Stars. We're all in the same gang. What if we all came together on that moment and put a stop to that type of foolishness? And then you fast forward it now years later, and we have an incident with Megan Thee Stallion and the shooting with Tory Lanez. And look how Megan was treated. Now, Black women experience this no matter what.
It's called a Wednesday for us.
It's called a Wednesday for us. It's called a Wednesday for us, but they experience it no matter what. So had this, to me, just to answer your question about accountability, had that been set in motion back then, I don't think, or at least I hope, that when it came to an incident now, that there wouldn't have been the mocking, there wouldn't have been the gaslighting, there wouldn't have been the misinformation, there wouldn't have been her not being believed, And this came from industry people. And then you take an artist like Drake, who made, a comment about it in a song, and then you take an artist like Eminem, who took what I said. The parallels, they set the example. They set it off. So now everybody is following suit because once one does it, then it's like, oh, that gives them permission. And it gave them permission, and it gave the culture permission to have no accountability.
Thank you for gracing us with your presence.
And thank you for having me. I really appreciate, like I said,
Yeah.
It's only the second thing I've done for the anniversary.
It means a lot to us. I mean, Hip Hop Caucus is one of those places where we're an organization that I think is trying to go beyond the concept of just being, a philanthropic organization. How can I be
down? I was like, I did not know.
It's to really to get to the people. It's about community, and it's about these moments that matter. And I've been trying every time to do these sofa sessions where they like really speak to the culture.
Yes.
You are by far the most important voice in our culture, and I want you to know that. You are seen.
Thank you.
And as a woman who has gone through the industry in the way that I have, you are needed. You are an example that I hope you always remember you are, because it can get crazy.
Yep.
The noise can get very loud, and you can get lost in that.
Right.
But please know,
thank you.
You are not that situation. You are so much more.
Thank you.
Your work in Body and Soul, your work at Pump It Up, your work after it in your production company, and what you will do as an author that we are already speaking into existence to being the bestseller. We here at Hip Hop Caucus are grateful for you spending your 50-year anniversary with us.
It was such an honor, and what better place to be than someplace called, Hip Hop
Caucus.